Hello, good evening, and thanks again for being with us tonight. This is Ideas Exchange. We'll come to you on Wednesdays between 8 and 9 p.m. Tonight, we want to take you away from the stress we have been through over the last few months. No more economic crisis or debt exchange program or reduce the size of government, or I won't reduce the size of government, or if we don't go to the IMF and get that support by March, then the economy will collapse, to a certain pastor who has double names, Reverend Edujemfi, or somebody who is also known as Kobna, that's Reverend Kusi, and then you come to arrest Okujeto Ablakwa, jail him for contempt of court, to I cannot find admission to my schools. So you realize that a lot of things are going on wrong, and all these are stress on people. In all these, Ghanaians have some expectations that if this government is failing, there should be an alternative. That alternative could be the NDC, could be the CPP, could be any political party that may be formed within the next 2 years ahead of the 2024 elections. But today, we want to focus on what happened at the NDC headquarters. They have opened nominations, and we know between now and Friday, those who aspire to be parliamentary candidates for the party in the 2024 elections are expected to be picking their nomination forms. At the same time, those who want to lead the party for the 2024 elections, I'm talking about presidential candidates, would also be picking their forms. So today at the party headquarters, the former president, John Dramani Mahama, had his forms picked for him. We also had another presidential candidate who is not too known, but has also picked his forms. We will introduce him on this program. So what we have done is to focus our attention at the headquarters of the NDC to unwrap what took place today. Now, you tell from the pictures that we are showing on the screen that those who met today to receive the representatives of the nominees include the following: Elvis Afri-Yankra, who is well known, was a director of elections of the party before he decided to contest the 2024 elections. We have Barbara Samoa, who was also the re-elected deputy general secretary of the party. The picture you saw earlier was a good friend of mine, Obobia Dako Opoku, a good friend, philanthropist, former parliamentary candidate for Weja Gbawe, the face of Ignite Youth Empowerment Initiative, which has been empowering and molding young ladies to become better versions of themselves and to position them strategically for leadership. Akogan was there, and the deputy national communications officer, of course. Kaka Samoa, whose picture has been back and forth from what I am showing, is the deputy director of communications of the party, and Daniel Amate, deputy director of elections. These gentlemen received the delegation who came in support of former President John Dramani Mahama. So you can see from the pictures Joshua Alabi there, and many of them are regional chairman of the NDC or secretary. So you see Kojo, how do you call it there, who is the dean of the regional chairman caucus of the party. I saw Tete Chai there, and many of them were there to receive the nomination forms of the former President John Dramani Mahama, which was delivered by Professor Joshua Alabi. We will listen to Kakre Samoa briefly, and then I'll tell you what Joshua Alabi said after his forms were received. His money was received in the form of banker's draft and the forms that are supposed to be filled. Listen to Kakre Samoa now.
Comrades, I've seen a lot of my regional chairman this morning and my professor. As far as you are here, we are ready. You've got your money, so I hand you the receipt. Thank you very much. And then the documents that you will fill and bring to us in a. Remember to fill it accurately, and remember that at the end, when we have looked through, we will vet your candidate. So tell him to prepare for all that. With this, I wish you the very best. Our people are waiting for liberation. Thank you very much.
The endorsement form for each region. So, for instance, if you are going to Ashanti region for the endorsement, you pick it this way.
It's written on it.
Yes.
Ashanti region is written on it. Yeah.
This set is for Ashanti region. This set is for Afro region. Each of the region have their set. We are also providing you jacket to accompany each of the form to the region for endorsement. Jacket
was Daniel Amate, a former MC for LECMA, currently the Deputy Director of Elections of the NDC. Remember when they were electing their national executives, he was in charge of that process. We saw the election in the Central Region, Cape Coast to be specific, for the youth and women's wing, and then we came to the Accra Sports Stadium where the leadership of the party were elected for the next term in office. Now, he walked them through the process after inspecting the bankers' draft of about 30,000 cedis. We know between now and Friday, the candidates should have picked their nomination forms. But the Professor Joshua Alabi, who led the delegation, don't forget, including many of the regional chairmen from all the 16 regions, and some who could not come were represented by their secretaries, I mean regional secretaries, spoke passionately about why he has so much trust in the former president. Now, he was speaking at a time when we know that in 2018, he was a contestant who competed with former President John Mahama in that election to lead the NDC for the 2020 elections. He made reference to the track record of the NDC, the attributes of the former president, what he has done, which vindicates him today, his persona, i.e. The strengths that he has as a person who respects governance and somebody who Ghanaians are yearning for. He captured all these in a brief remark after he received the documents which will be filled on behalf of the former president for him to be endorsed, to endorse before they present back to the party next month. Now, let's listen to Professor Joshua Alabi.
The nomination form for His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. We are in very difficult times in this country. That experience is the key. One who has done it before, and one who is very humble, one who shows love to the people, and one who believes in people-centered policies. When you are coming out to a policy, you have to factor in the people. You carry the people along. Fortunate for us in the NDC and in the country as a whole, we have somebody like that. And we can't afford to allow him to sit down whilst we have a very huge challenge, tax to surmount. So we are here to pick his form and to work for him. Working for him is not only working for him, but working for the National Democratic Congress and working for the people of Ghana. They need us, and we need to lead. I'm very confident that come 2024 December, January 2025, NDC will be forming the new government. Government under the leadership of His Excellency Dramani. The NDC has done it before, and the NDC have left very experienced hands to assist His Excellency John Dramani Mahama to do it again. Somewhere in the 80s, when it was very difficult for this country, it was the experienced hands of people from the NDC who were able to move the country from a very, very challenging moment to prosperity. Again, we have a similar challenge. We have the experienced hands, And they are all available and ready to support His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. I assure the people of this country that under the leadership of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, within a matter of 2 years, you will see signs of development. Yeah. We will first stabilize and move. And I'm very confident that at the end of it, the NPP will never see power again in this country. I'm very confident of that. So we thank all of you for coming, and we thank the leaders who it happened, and we assure you of very, very, very good contest. It's going very, very interesting. It's going very lively, and we are not going to throw stones at anybody, because at the end of it, we are all going to come on board to move the power, to move the party to victory. So I'm assuring our other contestants that everything is going to be smooth. We love all of them, and at the end of it, we are going to invite them to join us to victory.
I'm sure in the coming days and months, these are some of the campaign songs that will be passing through your rooms, i.e. TV sets, radio sets, on the streets, and so on. But it was not going to be so until the NDC has decided who is going to be their presidential candidate. But today, I think the focus was on John Mahama because he was the first. We have two other candidates. In fact, there's a second candidate who also picked this nomination form today, not well known, but he says that he has been working underground. You will hear him in an interview my colleague, Wisdom Hedejome, had with some of those who were at the party headquarters to witness the picking of the nomination forms by former President John Dramani Mahama, and that candidate. We'll be playing that shortly. But you must also know that two other Ghanaians who are well known have distinguished themselves. I'm talking about Dr. Kobna Dufour and Kojo Bonsu would also be picking their nomination forms tomorrow, we are told. I'll tell you a little about them, but first, let's hear what people had to say, either for John Mahama or their expectations for an NDC rejuvenated and ready to contest the 2024 elections. Among those, Wisdom spoke to were Dr. Kwame Ampofo, a former member of parliament for 8 years. And of course, he says he worked closely with John Mahama when he was a member of parliament and the chair or the ranking on the Communications Committee of Parliament. And then the dean of the regional caucuses of the NDC, that's the regional chairman who have formed the caucus of the party, that is John Kojo Japon, is currently the OT regional chairman of the party. Before that, he was the chairman of the Volta region until that region was separated for OT and the Volta region, which is still now represented by the chairman, Agbavito. But first, Wisdom will tell us what he picked at the headquarters this morning.
The journey to rescue Ghana from the abyss is set to roll. Today, former President John Dramani Mahama has picked his nomination form to contest the 2024 presidential elections on the ticket of the NDC. Now, the former president did not come here himself, but then his campaign manager for the 2020 elections, Professor Joshua Alabi, did the picking.
I think that we need all hands on deck. Difficult times, and you need an experienced hand for who have the track record. Be the one. I will spend every peso, every minute of energy, my picking out to make sure, not only win the internal primaries, but win the next election. And I'm committed to that as a former national youth organizer, as a former staffer under him. I will do everything to make sure John Dramani Mahama wins not only the primaries, but wins national election. We need that in this country. The country is messed up. The country is totally shut down.
Well, he's somebody that I've done very well because I served in parliament for 8 years with him. When he was a ranking member for, I think, communications, I was the ranking member for mines and energy. And so we were on the front bench and we worked together. So I know his caliber, I know what he can do. Even when he was in office, we worked together on the energy sector. I was the chairman of the Energy Commission, and we did a lot together. So I know about his vision, which everybody in Ghana now can attest to. We're on the way to converting this country really into an industrial one. They started calling his projects, some of his projects, and all that. So if it had continued, you know, we would have seen what the country would have been now. So it is a hope and aspiration. Everybody, not me alone, but I believe even those who are not in the NDC party believe that this is the time right now to give power to the person who.
We are standing here because of the women. I'm speaking on behalf of the women. I've done it before, but this time round, we have seen what women. John has done a lot to say everything here. Now, we're saying that tomorrow, when we go there from here, we are going to campaign for Dramani Mahama. All the women, we are standing here campaigning for John Dramani Mahama to take over the country again because the country has fallen. Everybody is crying. What is going on? Kenyans are crying, children are crying, women cannot go out there to sponsor their children and other friends. So today, if I'm here, if we are here, everybody is here because of John Dramani.
That's the reason. And the reason I know that they have, any of them know very well that they can't win this election. Because they are political
98.5% that I'm a property in today come into voting, and I can assure you, no problem about that.
John Dramani Mahama, okay, and then get to it. Can you be say John Mahama 8 years? Now so one say no nyame, I share with you. One say no nyame, epitano. 1 year 8 years. And the Bumba Kufado, Obimra, no man and reason the air can say. Sabri, this is John for the baby and man. You call a shabon and Nipan Tias. Papa, and then I can't even what it am for some aside Ghana. And no, yeah, never did require some. And net dollar here comes them good to meet you. Nyama Bazaar school in some quiet bazaar. The Piala Bazaar. Or some man. We catch them and say, John, they've been money for some time in this country. I say, about John Dramani Mahama too. Umbra, no maye, no money, no real. I said, I said, Ghana for Israel, you who say, Yame, Dogana.
We know, no. So we have people underground and they can come up. As you know, NDC secured.
So you would notice, and I'm sure if my producers can go back a little so that we look at the tail end of that video, even though the sound was breaking, that is the other presidential candidate who also picked his form today is Ernest Kweku Kobia. Ernest Kweku Kobia is not well known by the media or let's say the public. And so that question was put to him that you're not well known. So why are you going to contest an election which appears to be already written, with the results already written on the wall? And he says he has been working on the ground and is very optimistic that he would win the elections on the ticket of the NDC to go into the 2024 elections in the coming days, because that election will be held on May 13th. And so I'm pleading with my producers, if they cannot immediately. Okay, it's ready. So let's show it on the screen so that a lot of people will see the second candidate who is actually going to contest as a presidential candidate if approved by the party. They would actually go through the vetting process. Can you show the picture on the screen? Yes, so that's him on the screen. This is the second presidential candidate to pick his nomination forms today. But it appears as if because he's not well known, the focus has been on the former president, John Dramani Mahama. Tomorrow, we are told that former finance minister, Dr. Kwabena Dufour, would also be picking his nomination forms. We don't know whether he will go in person or he will send his supporters to be there. But Dr. Kwabena Dufour, as you know, is a former finance minister. He's also served as governor of the Bank of Ghana. He was named as one of the 4 best central bank governors in the world at an IMF World Bank meeting as far back as 1999. I'm sure many young people today may not know much about him at that time. Of course, if you have not followed the political history of this country, he's a fellow of the Ekuafo Hall, University of Ghana, and a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Bankers. Dufour is the founder and chairman of Hoda Holdings, a business entity comprising of insurance, banking, real estate, farming, mining, and the media. He's also founder and president of the Institute for Fiscal Studies in Ghana, a non-profit think tank. And if you care to know, he's also the founder of Unibank, which was controversially collapsed as far back as 2018. I'm saying so because 2018 appears to be a long time. He's in court fighting that. Then next, we are told he's also going to pick his nomination forms to contest John Mahama. Is Kojo Bonsu, the former mayor of Kumasi. He was the Metropolitan Chief Executive of the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly from 2013 to 2016. He was also appointed the Managing Director of GOIL, a former director of the Tamale-based Real Tamale United. Don't forget, he's a sports administrator, a wealthy businessman we know. Kojo Bonsu is also a former executive member of Asante Kotoko. In 2013, he launched his bid to be the Ghana Football Association's president. He contested Kwesi Nyantechi at that time. We'll be taking a short break. We'll play some adverts, and when we come back, we'll be speaking to Jonathan Ochre Asante. He's a political analyst and a senior lecturer at the University of Cape Coast. Stay with us.
The average human body mass should have at least 60% water for optimal performance in any physical or mental exercise. We can help you maintain it naturally. X Natural Mineral Water. Simply natural. Welcome to the Royal Dazzle Event Center. With a lush and well-maintained lawn and garden, you are assured of the best serene and comfortable atmosphere to organize all your family and social events. Live the royal moments here with friends and family. The hosting capacity of 600 to 800 people makes Royal Dazzle the most versatile of places to host weddings, parties, funerals, conferences, concerts, and many more. Create your memories with us. Call us for inquiries on 055-814-8585 or 024-620-2144, or pass by and speak to any of our friendly staff. Locate us at My John, close to Zoom Lion headquarters. Royal Dazzle Event Center, creating memories.
Welcome back. This is Ideas Exchange. And when I was listening to some of the songs that were composed to support the former President John Dramani Mahama, I thought about creativity. Now, first of all, what you know is that when we go into the campaign or electioneering campaign period, you notice that political party activists or candidates always look for either philanthropists or people who naturally love them, and for that reason, they will compose songs to go along with the campaign. Some of these campaign songs tell the story about what they have done or what they stand for. And so I'm looking into the preparation towards the NDC's primaries, either for parliamentary candidates or presidential candidates, the kind of creativity that will be brought to bear to bring some soothing songs that will lift your soul if you think it's going well for your candidate. So we'll be listening to what Dufo put on board. We'll be listening to what Kojo Bones will be putting on board. And of course, Ernest Krabia would also be putting this on board. And John Mahama may be lucky because he had so many of such songs as far back as 2016, 2020. We are going into 2024. Whether it's going to be repetition of some of them, we wait to see. But those were teasers because he's seen as a front runner as the NDC goes into their primaries. We are joined by Jonathan Asante-Okyere, who is a senior lecturer at the University of Cape Coast and a political analyst. Thanks for your time tonight, and we are happy to have you join us on Ideas Exchange, sir. Thank you very much, sir. We are so grateful for your time. First, this appears to be an interesting election. If you look at 2018, we have 7-8 people who contested John Mahama. At that time, the perception was that some of them had the backing of the late former President Jerry John Rawlings. And so opponents were looking up to a poor performance, especially looking into John Mahama's performance in the 2016 elections, where NDC was seen to have lost abysmally to NPP at the time. And so going into 2020, many people thought the anger or that will be reflecting on the results. But he pulled surprises. He won almost all the votes, over 90 or 95%. Today, as we speak, tentatively, we have 4 candidates, including 3 who want to contest him. What does it mean to you as an analyst watching from the fence?
Thank you, Eric. I would say good evening to the viewers of this. I don't know if you are part of the radio as well. If you have, I will take it. It typifies the overwhelming popularity.
Now, Mr. Asante, we'll be calling you back in a second. I'm using this figuratively, so you appreciate it almost immediately. The line seems not to be clear, but Jonathan Asante-Okyere is a senior lecturer at the University of Cape Coast, a political analyst. We've called him to just walk through his opinion on what everybody is observing. Yes, opinion polls suggest John Mahama will win, but is it going to be win by over 90%, as Mr. Japon was saying, that 98.5% win? If he doesn't do better than he did in 2018, with Kobna Dufo coming in, Kojo Bonsu coming in, what will that mean? Don't forget, in 2020, he did far, far better compared to the result in 2020. With all the machinery NPP put in, John Mahama pulled a surprise, and till date, the NDC believes they won the election, and it was stolen for the current regime by a combination of factors: the security, the EC, and government machinery, and incumbency advantage, and so on and so forth. And so when we get Jonathan Asante, we would want to look at his own assessment of how things will play out and what it would mean when he is not able to beat his own record as it was in 2018. Do we have Jonathan Asante on the line, sir?
All right.
Good. So, sir, I think I've paraphrased my question. What is your response, sir?
Well, I started by saying that, of course, all courtesies, extended to our viewers and listeners at the same time. I started by saying that it typifies, the overwhelming popularity of the personality of Mr. John Dramani Mahama, popularly known as JDM. And so it marks a certain difference And what is that difference? The difference is the fact that, look, it appears Ghanaians are not ready for that kind of try and error kind of presidential candidate. And for them, they seem to think that, well, if somebody, committed some errors in the past, of which he has admitted openly, then it means that there is that kind of sincerity on the part of that particular personality. Therefore, if there is any person who can iron out the issues that Ghanaians, all of us, are facing as we stand now, then if you are not going for a try and error person who would just be promising us heaven and be delivering hell, then there is nobody that is better placed than that particular personality called JDM. And I think that's the more reason why there is that reduction in the number, of those who are interested in becoming or holding the flag of the NDC. That apart, you could also see that these same personalities that contested him, some of them are in his camp. And probably as we go along, those who are not on board yet may want to come on board as we should see it so. And of course, you can talk of Professor Joshua Labi, who feels that JDM is better positioned, better placed in terms of the NDC and Ghanaians as a whole, to be able to slug it out with whichever personality that the MPP will bring. I'm also foreseeing, for example, Mr. Sly Tete, is it Sly Mensa? Yes, Sylvester Mensa, right?
Right.
Yes, probably he may want to be on the side of the 34 as it were. So that will also reduce the number of those who could have, contested Mr. Mahama, so to speak. And so by and large, I am of the view that the reduction in the number signifies the fact that Mr. John Dramani Mahama is still overwhelmingly popular, in the annals of the NDC, no two ways about that. And of course, people will have to look into the future to see the mind of Ghanaians. And you could see that most of the surveys that have come out, put him far ahead, in terms of his peers, and a little, or on the average, a little higher or more than, his compeers in the MPP. So it tells you that all other things being equal, as the economists will say, if the status quo ante should continue or be maintained, and he's retained or given the mandate to lead the NDC, there is the most likelihood that the NDC is likely to win the elections with JDM in 2024 elections.
Good. So that is your first response. There is this natural reaction by people who may not understand what politics indeed means. I've eavesdropped whenever I have that close to political party activities, and sometimes you notice that supporters sometimes cannot understand why some people will not appreciate reality on the ground and may still want to spoil the soup with whatever they intend doing. How should supporters of the party, because if you look at this election, it is not going to be as we saw in the conferences or the Congress that was organized. It is almost going to be like a general election where people are going to vote in all the 275 constituencies, in this case plus 2, the headquarters and Seoul. Now, people may react negatively to other candidates, not because they hate them, but just because they cannot understand when it is written on the wall that somebody is the obvious choice, they want to contest such people. How should the party manage such reactions in order not to send some negative signal to other candidates to undermine what we see as the beauty of democracy?
Yeah, Eric, I think that you have just hit the nail right on the head. Some of us, take a reservation to some, of the pronouncement of some members at a national level. I think that Mr. Mahama is an overwhelming favorite to win. I don't want to hear Fifi Fiavi make a comment on that. I think it is not right. It is not right, and I'm not too sure. Probably the general chairman, Mr. Sedin Kate himself, may pass a, because you guys are going to be referees. These or other cohorts are members of the NDC in good standing. They want to contest Mr. Mahama, not because they know they are going to win. But of course, their contest could be that they want their names to be in the minds of delegates for the future. For the future. And for the purposes of democracy, things of that nature should be allowed. You see, I know the other side. The other side is that, well, Mr. Mahama wins with about 70-something%, 80-something%, and the opposition, that is the MPP, will latch onto it and say, oh, he is not even popular in his party. Therefore, they are going to, ensure that whoever is going to win from their ranks will have that overwhelming, number, which is likely not going to be the case. The NPP has a huge problem. The NDC navigates, or usually you will see that they galvanize around Congress. That is why they say the National Democratic Congress. They galvanize around, a personality that they know and feel that he is overwhelmingly popular. And they will not in any way think twice about voting for that personality. But as you said, this is about democracy. And people may have different views. We need to, as a matter of democrats, ensure that all other views are tolerated. The same thing should happen in the MPP. That is the basis or the purpose of democracy. Of course, you go and contest, and when you are done, you will see that, yes, you may have resources, but the people feel that you are not the best person for this job at this point in time. It does not mean you are a bad person. No. That is what elections mean.
But how about, Jonathan, let me chip in here. How about those who admit that these are candidates, potential candidates, let me put it this way. But at this time, it is about Ghanaians, particularly NDC, which is angry about a success story Ghana would have been telling today if John Mahama had continued his 4 more year term, but for the juicy promises that have plunged this country into this economic crisis. So the public is generally angry. So you have people who are not naturally NDC sympathizers, but who are openly confessing that they wish John Mahama had been president and are yearning for him. And so if this is the anger on the ground, why would, let's say, and I'm using it advisedly for the purpose of this conversation, Dr. Dufour or Kojo Bonsu, who have money, not pump their money into an NDC machinery in terms of campaigning, but would be seen to be throwing the money out just to make themselves popular for the future, as you said?
Well, we cannot think for them. I think that the best way to go about it is probably those from the camp of Mr. Mahama to reach the 2 compatriots and ask them probably to stand aside. As to whether they will buy into that, as to whether you are ready to take such a risk, it's all about politics. I agree with you, over 100% on the views that you have expressed. But it is democracy. What can you do? You will only have to allow them to contest so that the delegates, as the late John will tell you, that fair delegates, they will, pamper you, tell you all manner of sweet things. And then when you get there, you realize that you have a single vote. And that vote is only but yours. Probably you would have even decided to vote against yourself because you think you're in a better position. Of course, we have heard a certain businessman saying that he's going to contest, he's going to take the form, he's paid the 30,000 Ghana cedis. We are waiting to see if we'll be able to pay the 50,000 Ghana cedis required. But you see, I think that we don't have to overstretch this point. The NDC, as I've always known them, and the name implies, they are Democrats. So what else can you do than to allow these people to contest so that they will know their aspirant level? Other than that, you will have to, reach them and then, give them some kind of juicy promises, as it were, so that, they see the need not to contest. But as I said, the only reason behind Kojo Bonsu contesting Mr. Mahama is because of his future political ambitions. Nothing else. He's not even going to get about even 1% of the vote. He's not. But of course, the party needs money, no two ways about it. So if you have somebody paying 30,000 and then later on paying 50,000, that is good money for the party. of course, I am very much sure that when it comes to the sponsorship or financing the party in the 2024 elections, should Mr. Mahama be leading, I wouldn't be. I'll be very much surprised if Kojo Bonsu will not finance the party's campaign, and it would be so surprising that Dr. Dufour will not do the same. So I think that. Yeah.
So Mr. Asante, before you take leave of us, and if you can do this in 1 minute, because I'm getting signals that some people out there would also want to contribute to this discussion, even though we have less than 7 minutes left. In 30 seconds, parliamentary elections to be held concurrently with the presidential elections. What should the party guard against, taking into consideration how they want to hold parliament for the future between now and 2024?
Well, I think that unnecessary disqualification should not take place. They should be guided, by what happened to the MPP before the 2020 elections. They should bear that in mind and ensure that those who are qualified contest, and those who are disqualified, of course, they should be given the opportunity to be heard, so that it does not in any way inure to the disadvantage of the party. And I think that that is the best way. They should not impose any candidate on the party. It's not worth it. You may have won some political, some constituencies that were already in the possession of the NPP. Yes, I think that those who did well as first-timers in those areas, you don't need to be openly seen to be opposing others who want to contest them. If they've done well, I think the grassroots will ensure that they are maintained.
Okay.
And then I think that the 2024 election.
Mr. Jonathan Asante, I always enjoy chatting with you. This is Ideas Exchange. We are grateful and enjoy your night.
You're welcome.
Jonathan Asante is a lecturer at the University of Cape Coast and a senior, a political lecturer, a political analyst, sorry for that, and a senior lecturer at the University of Cape Coast. Now, we'll be opening the phone lines. I'm sure many of you know the numbers already to appear on the screen, but I am also sharing with you a notice by the NDC. They are not going to immediately hold primaries in 27 constituencies. The reason is simple. They may be strategizing. And some of these constituencies are Ayawaso Central, Amasaman, Afram Plains, Akwetia, Efutu, Gomoa Central, Amenfi East, Evalejura, Asen North, Pusiga, Takwa, Nsuayem, Ayensuano, Adanse, Asokwa, Offenso North, Ahafuano North, Setre, Afram Plains, Ahafuano South, Southwest, and we have Bosome, Frehu, Asante, Achem Central, Manso, Adobia, Manshia South, Subin, and Fomena. Many of these constituencies are in the NPP stronghold, and they added 4 more to make the 27, which is Gomoa East, Akontombra, Binduri, and Ododo Diodo here in Accra. I'm hearing rumors Neil and Vanderpoy may not go again. So don't forget Ododo Diodo has always been a hot seat. It's a hot spot. And many times, both for NDC, MPP, even in their own primaries, sometimes can become very heated. And then when you go into the general elections, i.e. parliamentary elections, sometimes it turns bloody. I'll pick few calls till it's 8 o'clock. Thanks for your time. Brief comment. John Mahama picked his forms. Adobia picks the forms. John Dufour, Kobna Dufour, Kojo Bonsu tomorrow. Your take, briefly.
Hello, my name is Isam calling from Kumasi.
Right, go ahead, sir.
I thank Almighty God that Mahama is coming back again. So we are saying that he should come and save this because now we are in trouble. And we thank God. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm so grateful for the brief comment. If somebody else is on the line, let's quickly speak to you. Thanks. Good evening. Hello, good evening.
Hello?
Yes, make your point quick.
Good evening, my brother. How are you?
Fine, sir.
My name is General, former chairman for Ayawaso East.
Good.
Chairman Olabode Williams.
Very good.
In fact, I would have preferred all other candidates to step down for His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. because Ghanaians can never afford to lose John Mahama. John Mahama has done a lot for this country. The good people of Ayawaso East, we love John Mahama. The NDC loves Mahama. And I would have preferred that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is allowed to go unopposed. But it is democracy. But I strongly believe John Mahama will get 98 to 99%. Inshallah. And you come and lead this country once again.
Thank you.
We are suffering. We are suffering.
Yes. Thank you very much for your time. Let me pick as many calls as we can within an hour. Yeah. Good evening, sir.
Hello.
You are live on TVXYZ.
I'm used to calling from Wa.
Wa, go ahead, sir.
Yes. My brother, all candidates to. Hello. I said all candidates here. Good evening. Hello?
Yes, I can hear you, sir. I want to pick two more calls quickly, so make it brief, snappy.
I said all candidates to withdraw and leave only John Dramani Mahama.
Thank you very much, sir. Let's see if two more calls can come in quickly before 9 o'clock. I have about 3 minutes to 9 from what my watch is telling me. Good evening, sir.
Hello. Yeah, good evening.
Yes, this TVXYZ. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah. My name is Ahianyo the hero from Ngendi.
Good.
Yeah. It's good that some of the contestants want to contest your mama, but for the sake of the NDC, like for me, if let your mama go unopposed so that we should see the of the NDC, so that next time they also can come out. But for now, coming there out, it's not like we don't like them. It's just that you need your mama, or the whole nation needs your mama, not only Ghana, the whole Africa needs your mama. So I'm begging them that you should let your mama to be next time they also come.
Thank you very much. I like the way people from Yendi, Bole, and so mention mama. They just say mama. They don't mention it as how we say Mahama. Somebody else is on the line. Good evening. Is he a lady or a man? Good evening.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
This is Harry Ketchotom calling from Swedru.
Swedru.
Good evening.
Yes, good evening, sir.
Harry Ketchotom calling from Agona Swedru.
Right.
We thank the Almighty Lord for making it possible for John Mahama to be reformed. Like it has been stated by the analyst, I think that we are a democratic party, and therefore we should allow others to contest John Mahama, to put their weight, and then see if they can popularize themselves for the future. Because he has only 4 years.
All right.
So I think there is nothing wrong in the other 3 or more.
Thank you.
Contest.
Thank you.
In
I'm picking
more of them contested, and yet your mama proved that he was well above them. So I believe that this time around you get more than 99% of the votes.
Right. Thank you very much. Last call. Yeah. Unfortunately, I can't pick many after this one. May we know where you called from? Well, my producers are chasing me out of the studio. So that's how we want to wrap up on this program. Okay, somebody has come in. Good evening, sir. Tamale, you can go ahead, speak.
Yes, sir. Your mama, say yeah.
I'm tempted to say yeah. Go ahead, sir.
All of them, I think all of them should step down for your mama to go, because we are much hungry for your mama to come and then save us. Our economy, our dire economy, the economy, everything is near. Your mama should come and then save Ghanaians. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I want to wrap up. Maybe my producers will help me play back one of the songs that has been very popular on social media everywhere about John Dramani Mahama. That's the favorite NDC wants to talk about. Don't forget that members of parliament he met yesterday to announce his intention, also gave him that assurance of their overwhelming support. And all regional chairmen from the 16 regions were also with Professor Joshua Alabi. That's how we are wrapping up with this small music, just to whet your appetite ahead of what you want to see in the NDC before 2024. My name is Ahianyo. See you next week.